Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 8th episode of the Leaders Corner, hosted by me, Allison.
And me, Renee, from Leaders Fluent. In this podcast, we delve into the world of business, leadership, and entrepreneurship. And today we are very happy to be joined by the co-founder of FLIK, Michelle.
We would like to start off by learning more about you, Michelle, so feel free to introduce yourself.
So hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Michelle Kwok. I am the co-founder and CEO of FLIK. We are a platform and community hub that connects female founders and leaders with learners from all across the world through meaningful apprenticeship. So female founders are notoriously under-resourced, so they're able to gain, helping hands on their businesses, and students or learners are able to gain career relevant experience, skills training, and mentorship under established female leaders. We started this, me and my co-founder, Ravina, started this about 2 years ago at Next 36, one of the top entrepreneurship programs for young founders in Canada. And since then, we have reached over 11,000 women in our community, I think more than that now, in over 57 countries around the world. So we're really lucky to have a really global community of diverse women who are looking to advance entrepreneurship, looking to advance women-led ventures, and advance economic participation of women. A little bit about me is I actually went to university for medical sciences at Western University, and then I kind of accidentally just delved into the world of entrepreneurship, ended up graduating a year early from university, and now, doing this. And it's been quite the journey ever since.
That sounds amazing. And would you like to talk a little bit more specifically about the services that FLIK provides to its members?
Yeah, so we have two sides of the community, essentially. So founders and leaders and students and learners. So for the founders and leaders side, they're able to connect with students and learners from all across the world, no matter where they are, what their experience has been previously. They're able to get helping hands on their businesses from what we call apprentices, but they can redefine the relationship however they want. And we also support founders in different ways. As we know, female founders are notoriously under-resourced. So we help them gain the network that they need to gain funding, for example. So we'll bring in like office hours with VCs. We brought in, one of the amazing VCs that we brought in was from Emergence Capital, and they are early investors in Zoom, Dropbox, Box, like ClearBank or now ClearCo, and a lot of different companies that are really, really successful. So we bring in a lot of guest experts that give advice, and VCs and investors and angels and all those types of people. And we're also building out a founders hub. We also released, I think in April, like April 28th, like end of April, beginning of May, a startup resource hub that offers our founders over $300,000 in startup resource discounts. So we're helping to lower female founder burn rate. As we know, a lot of female founders are undercapitalized. And on the other side, with students and learners, we recently released, I believe it was last month or early this month, we released the Apprentice Resource Hub that gives you access to internships from our partners and different resources to help you with your academic career and your professional career, resume building, all of that stuff. We build out workshops so we actually have a workshop, I think, going out next week. Oh, just kidding. It's actually today about how to, for apprentices to learn about how to build your LinkedIn and how to optimize your LinkedIn. And so we're always building out different resources in every aspect of how to advance apprentices in their personal and professional career, and similarly with founders.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's
There's
really
a lot going on.
amazing.
We also have like several newsletters that are dedicated to supporting both sides with like resources and stories and really good reads that can help them advance their careers. So yeah, there's a lot going on at all times.
Wow, it seems that you and your team are extremely passionate people, and we were wondering what inspired you to start FLIK?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think everyone always wonders that, because they're like, oh, you were in medical sciences, why did you do this? I think a really big part of it was when I was growing up, I came from the traditional Asian immigrant family, and my parents had always wanted me to be a doctor. I think I'd only known about a few careers as I was coming up. It was really only just, either I'm going to be an accountant, an engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer. And I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. And when I did, I think I watched The Social Network. And I saw Mark Zuckerberg and I was like, not me. I am not technical like that. I don't speak like that. I don't think like that. I can't be that. And as you're growing up, you always see, the Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and you're just kind of like, I don't look like that person. And so growing up, I didn't think that entrepreneurship was an option. And then when I was in university, suddenly I got introduced to entrepreneurship by accident from a friend of mine. And I thought, this is so cool. I would love to make my dream impact, my dream job. But there's really no one in the space that looks like me, a woman, let alone an Asian woman. And everybody in my community, I'm sure people can relate to this, but everybody in my community was like, you're going crazy. Like, why are you doing this? You should be going to med school. You should be studying for your MCAT. And I just kept pushing on, and I was like, people should have, these mentors. People should have people that they can resonate with, that can help them with the barriers and challenges, especially those that are very specific to women in business. And then going to Next 36, less than 18% of our cohort were women. There weren't a lot of female founders and mentors there. And again, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't fit in. And my co-founder felt the same way. She was my roommate at the time. And she was like, oh my gosh, nobody, speaks like us. Nobody cares about this like social impact stuff. And just nobody acts the way that we do. This is so weird. Like, do we even fit in? And so more and more, we started reaching out to female founders and mentors. We started FLIK actually as a media company. We would reach out to people and say, hey, can we interview you? Because we wanted to just talk to them, but we had no reason to. So we would just like this, we would just be like, hey, can I interview you? And we got to meet people and share their stories. And we'd be like, yeah, we have this website. It's a media company. And we have hundreds of readers from all across the world, or whatever we said. And people said yes. And we got to interview the editor-in-chief of Glamour magazine and a bunch of Forbes 30 under 30 entrepreneurs. We got invited to cover Talk by Michelle Obama, and more. So many young students were reaching out to us being like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, I would love a mentor like this. Can you connect me with this person? I would love to work with this person. Can you connect me with this person? And we couldn't connect everybody with everybody because suddenly we had like thousands of people on our newsletter. And we decided, hey, why don't we actually transition from what we're doing now, which is a media company, into a tech platform, and see if we can connect these people who are looking for each other.
That's amazing. Yeah. I love how you guys, like you face so many barriers, or not barriers, challenges of feeling like you didn't belong there and you just kept persevering. It's really inspiring. And can you talk a little bit about your specific interest about helping women in business and the importance of that specifically?
Oh my, there's a huge importance to it. I think it touches on what I talked about initially, is if we don't see people when we're younger, if we don't see people in positions of leadership, in positions of power, in positions in entrepreneurship as a founder, that look like us, that we resonate with their identity, that we resonate with how they act, who they are, then we're never going to see ourselves in those positions. And early on, we're going to kind of like nip it in the bud that we're like, I'm never going to be like that, so I'm never even going to try. And that's really dangerous, I think. We are cutting our potential ourselves. We're like self prophesizing our potential from a very young age, which propagates a lot of gender inequity. And so there's so many societal boundaries that we have to cross, which is why it's so important for us to have mentors that look like us and resonate with us and can help us overcome those barriers and challenges that are so specific to women in business. Even if there are male allies who want to help you, they will have never gone through what, for example, like a woman of color would have to go through in order to rise in the ranks of business, right? And as much as he wants to help you, he's not going to be able to tell you, I went through this exact thing and this is how I came out of it on the other side. So without those firsthand experiences and that passing down of knowledge, I don't think that there's, on a large scale, we're going to be able to battle gender inequity. And that's one of the big UN SDG goals. That's obviously something that's going to help us in the future. For example, I think less than 1 in 5 entrepreneurs in the world are women. And that means we are discounting so much of the population in a time when we need innovation the most, in a time when there's so many different social justice issues. There's like climate change, there's, like I said, gender inequity, there's race inequity, there's so much going on that we have to combat. So why are we discounting so much of the human population? there's so much more you can say about it, but I think it's so straightforward. It's just like it just needs to happen. It's just one of those things.
No, yeah, I definitely agree. And I'm sure Renee can support me on that as well. And on the topic of women empowerment, how do you and your team find opportunities for women in all walks of life? For example, what sort of help, tools, or opportunities do you provide them with?
Yeah, we first of all, obviously we go and search for mentors as much as we can from all different industries. First, we looked in very male dominated industries first, because that's kind of where the students were interested in going into, but there were higher barriers for them to get into those industries. So stuff like tech or engineering. And then so we would reach out to like engineering societies, or we would reach out to tech founder societies, and then partner with a bunch of founder organizations and be like, hey, are you interested in mentoring some young women or career transitioners who are really interested in learning about your journey but also can give you a helping hand? So that's one thing. And then we honestly, we look everywhere. I think what was important for us was we built a brand around helping both sides of the community. And then after we built this brand, we had a network to say, hey, we want to compile basically all the resources that we can for both sides into these hubs. Please send us your resources. And people started sending us resources, and our team just compiled them. So I can't tell you that we went to every corner of the earth to say, give us something. But I think what was important for us is building this strong brand that showed that we have your backs, and we want to specifically give support to young learners or career transitioners, and then female founders and leaders. And after building that brand, all of the resources kind of came to us, and they were like, I think I have a really good opportunity here. I think we have a really great internship board here that's exclusive for people in our community. Can we add it to yours? So yeah, I think it definitely took time to build that brand and build that reputation. And then building out all of those partnerships really helped us grow.
That's incredible. And after building those partnerships, what type of impacts have you seen on your clients or customers?
So many. Oh my gosh. Literally this morning, I got this message. I need to read it out because I get these messages so much, but this is actually from someone who went to Western. So I just like, that's so cool. She said, hey, Michelle, she Instagram DM'd my personal Instagram. She said, hey, Michelle, I hope all is well. I was actually just reaching out to you to thank you because FLIK helped me secure a full-time job that I absolutely love. I was wondering if there's any opportunity for me to get more involved with FLIK. And continue. But basically, we've helped people get their dream full-time jobs, connected into industries that they never thought they would get into, transition. This one girl was like, I studied East Asian studies at school, but wanted to transition into UX and didn't know how to do it. Completely transitioned, ended up getting a job at Microsoft. This other girl got a job at JP Morgan. A bunch of young women have started companies. A lot of them have gotten recruited to the mentors that they apprentice for. So yeah, I think the impact has been tenfold, and every single day I get a message from somewhere. Like I have like 84 unread messages on LinkedIn because I can't answer all of them, but whenever I see something that's like genuinely they write a paragraph, I answer it and I send it to the team, and I'm like, guys, we literally have a team feel good channel on our Slack that's just people sending messages to our team about their experiences, and all of the blogs that are on our blog about their experiences, that's all people reaching out to us being like, yeah, can I write this?
Wow, I'm already convinced I really want to participate in this now. And for those who are also interested, can you just walk us through the steps of what a client would usually go through in the process of accessing your different services?
It's really easy. You can, as an apprentice, you can go to weareflik.com/apprentices. It's a 3-step sign up, and then you'll get approved within 48 hours after your account is verified. If you want to know how to get verified, you go to weareflik.com/verify and see how to improve your profile in order to get verified. And it's really your own journey. Like it's kind of like LinkedIn. You can go search for profiles. You can filter out for different industries, different skills, everything like that. eventually like different locations. And then you can click on people, you can request them if you want, you can not request them if you want, they can request you, and you just let them know why you want to get connected with them. And then the apprentice resource hubs and the founders resource hubs are both linked directly in the hubs of after you get approved and you sign in. So just you honestly just take a gander around the portal and see what pops up, because there's always different updates and there's always different things that we're going to be adding. Similarly, on the founder side, 3-step sign up. You just go to weareflik.com/founders, figure out what it means to be a founder with us, and everything is in the portal, and you can just request people, and we give you resources along the way to help you secure your apprenticeships.
That sounds like it'd be really beneficial to a lot of people. I'm sure, as you said, it already has. And we were wondering, how do you plan on growing FLIK even further, or do you have any big plans you'd like to share?
I can't. There's definitely things in the works. But yeah, we're always, just know that we're always striving towards the mission of being able to support more founders, more entrepreneurs and businesses, and more students and learners from all across the world, however we can. And we're continuing to try to expand our vision and our mission. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Can't wait. And you also mentioned previously about the challenges that you encountered along the way. Do you want to just expand on some of the struggles you encountered when starting your business, and what would be your biggest takeaway from it?
I think the biggest struggle was always people underestimating me. I am like a barely 5'4", like Asian woman. And I've had people say, "Oh, Michelle, like when we first started our company, they were like, 'Oh, Michelle, like you're such a social butterfly. Like I didn't think that you took anything seriously. So it's so good for you for starting this company.'" Or our small business advisor, when we first started, being like, "I don't think this is going to work. Let me tell you why." And he spent literally 30 minutes to an hour telling us why, even though he was supposed to be helping us build a business bank account. But he was like, "I'm an entrepreneur myself." So I think the biggest barriers you come across are people just underestimating you because of what you look like and who you are, and trying to tell you what's best for you when they barely know you. And just assuming that you can't do what you're doing. And I think that's some of the biggest stuff that we've had to deal with. And I definitely would hope that I think the biggest takeaway from that was other people are always going to underestimate you, but don't underestimate yourself. Because there were so many times when we had people say that to us, or, "Oh, I never thought you were going to start a company," or even my like family and like community were saying, are you even qualified for this?" And the more that you get that, the more that you're going to think that to yourself. But if you are truly super passionate about this, you don't think that there's anything like that on the market out there, and this is something that you would have wanted when you were younger, something that you need now, then someone else needs it too. So just believe in that and keep building. It doesn't matter if you're not super, super technical, but if there's someone who's super, super technical, but isn't passionate about the issue, they're not going to build it the right way. So just believe that you are going to, and you're going to figure it out along the way. And I figured out so much random stuff. I learned so much. I exponentially grew in the first year and a half because I was like making mistakes left and right. But you learn from that. And every time you make a mistake, don't be like, "I'm not qualified for this because I made a mistake," but you're just going to make mistakes. That's just going to happen. So I think the biggest takeaway is, it's so cliche, but it's actually just believing in yourself and just reflecting on why you are the right person for the job.
And would you say that's like one of the most important pieces of advice you could give to a young entrepreneur?
Yeah, because so many people are also going to say, "Aren't you too young for this?"
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I think that's about the last of our questions. Allison, do you have anything else to add?
I mean, it seems like you have a lot of good advice if you want to, but if that's all, then that's fine too. We can move on to the ending.
No, I think that's the best thing that I can say, honestly, because everybody always asks about advice or like what I wish I had known. And I don't think I wish I had known anything, because you need to make those mistakes in order to realize to never do that again. And there's times when I was like super, super stressed. But if I didn't have those like traumatic periods of stress, I would possibly make that mistake again, right? And I've learned so much along the way that you just have to do it. I think, okay, my last piece of advice would be, if you are interested in being an entrepreneur, do it earlier rather than later. And it doesn't have to be like a big thing. It doesn't have to be like a tech program. It could be, you're like creating scrunchies and selling them on Shopify. But figure out what it means to be in the inner workings of entrepreneurship before you commit to it, so that you can truly understand what it takes.
And also, I think you mentioned at the very beginning you had some sort of advisor. So how exactly did you turn your idea into reality? What other resources did you use, or how
I think
exactly
I,
did
I
that
think it was just that we were part of a lot of different accelerators, and there were a lot of mentors along the way that supported us. So I went through Next 36, League of Innovators, Envision. There's so many other resources out there that you can take advantage of. So yeah, I think definitely be part of a community that can support you in many different ways, and not just think that you can do it by yourself. Like, obviously there are people who can, but I think especially when you're a young entrepreneur and a first time founder, you need that support and that guidance along the way. And that definitely helped us.
Awesome. I think that's a perfect way to end the podcast. That's all for today. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Leaders Corner Season 1, Leaderpreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us, Michelle, and for all the insight you shared.
Be sure to check out FLIK.
Yeah, you can check out FLIK at weareflik.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, any social media at weareflik or /weareflik. And you can find me on LinkedIn at Michelle Kwok, KWK.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and leave a 5-star review, and be sure to stick around and connect with us at Leaders Fluent on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, and stay tuned for the next episode.
And always remember, leaders are made, not born.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, did you like this video? If so, click the subscribe button down below.
And make sure you click the notification bell to get updates each time we post. And remember, you can listen to the entire episode on 8 different platforms, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Check out the links down below.
Bye.
Bye.